What's good at YouTube? This is Buzo Builds. My bad. Anyways, we're back and we're gonna start building this Tic Tac Toe game, so let's get started. So first we gotta make a class. We gotta make, okay, the project's already made, so we gotta make a class because, my bad. And we have to make a class because, I mean, where else is our project going to be? So new Java class. We'll call the class Tic Tac Toe game. Really? Since we're just gonna have one class? Well, for the most part, one class, and we don't really have to worry about object orientation too much, so that's cool. Let's let them add the main method for us. I don't really feel like typing that up, so. And there you go, we got our public class Tic Tac Toe game. So the first thing we want to do is get the window to display on the computer because, well, that's that's kind of the container for our game. That's where the game is going to take place. As I mentioned before, the Java class JFrame is what represents these windows. So in order to use that, we're going to want to make our main class derive or extend what is inherit from that class. So extend JFrame. And of course, now that extends with an S, yeah, JFrame, and like we have to import things because they're not here yet. So let's give this class some properties. Let's give it a height of 500 and width 500 as well. So these properties will be made use to obviously set the height and width. Okay. Now in the main class, let's instantiate this class we just made. Tic Tac Toe game. Let's just call it game because I don't want to keep typing Tic Tac Toe game. Okay. Equals new Tic Tac. Oh my gosh, I don't even mean to. I can't type. Tic Tac Toe game. Okay. Wow. I was like, why is it red? Okay. Anyway, so now the class is instantiated. Let's kind of fill out, considering that it extends JFrame, it has some properties that we can set, and that's what we want to do. So let's set the size. Let's set size. And what do you know? Width, height, like the parameters are already set, so that's cool. There's something for JFrames called default close operation, and it's basically what specifies what shuts down the program that the JFrame contains. So what we want to do is that anytime the X button is pressed on our window, the program shuts down. So, and that's really simple to do because it's already implemented on the class. We just need to set the state. So we just do game dot set, is it default close? Yeah, set default operation, and yeah, what was it called? On close, something on close. What was it called again? Set on close. Okay, let me just scroll through here. Exit on close. Yep. Yeah, exit on close. So we want it to exit on close. Oh yeah, so this thing is giving me problems because technically static is main is a static method, so it's not a method that belongs to the class, so I have to use its reference, which is kind of weird because the method is still inside the class, but I mean, it's just, yeah, It's just whatever. Anyways, there's another property called visibility. Visibility. So you want to set that to true, because if it's on false, then we won't be able to see the window, which is, I mean, yeah. And another property that I want to set is resizable property, because we don't want, I mean, it's just going to be a small Tic Tac Toe game. We don't really want people to be resizing the window. So I'll just say set resizable. False. So yeah, let's see how that looks right now. Ooh, and as you can see, we got this small window. Looks pretty nice to play some Tic Tac Toe on. That was just a few lines of code. Granted, I'm just calling functions that have these deep, ununderstandable implementations. But I mean, stand on the shoulder of giants, so you use what you got. Drawing, like, we have the window up, so we want to start drawing the actual Tic Tac Toe table. In order to do that, first we want to make an inner class. I know I said there's not going to be too many classes, but I mean, I promise probably this is the only extra class we're going to have. But hopefully, I don't know. I don't even trust myself. But the reason we want to make this new class is because it's going to be an extension of JPanel, right? And by convention, like, we want to draw graphics onto this window, but by Java conventions, you're not supposed to add GUI directly onto the JFrame. You're supposed to use a JPanel that contains the GUI itself. So I'm not too sure why this is the case. I believe it's because the JFrame class isn't purely implemented through Java, considering that like it's more closer to the operating system of the machine. I don't really know, but generally when I do such projects, I follow the convention. I use JFrame and I use JPanel. JFrame and JPanel are quite similar. JPanel isn't a window, but it's still some type of GUI container, and you can add GUIs on it and you can draw on it or whatever. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you'll see later on. But yeah, so we make this inner class JPanel. Give me problems because it doesn't know what JPanel is. So I bring it there. I give JPanel some size properties. So ints. Since it's display, I'm gonna say D width. We gotta use that Campbell case, you know. D width equals, let's make the size 400 this time, because it should be smaller. D height equals 400 as well. 400 as well. After that, we want to, as I said, this thing is supposed to be responsible for actually painting the graphics. And kind of the way you paint graphics using these GUI containers is by overriding a method called paint component. So paint component comes with some, I guess some graphics object, which is called G in the actual function itself. And that's kind of like your paintbrush, and you just tell it what to paint or whatever. And then anytime the function runs, whatever the function says, it gets painted on. So we want to override that so we can paint what we want. So public paint component graphics G, right? Triple G. I don't know where I got that. Triple G. That sounds, I don't know what that is. Oh, I forgot my return type. So one weird thing about this, kind of weird, is that Graphics 2D, which is another class that inherits from graphics, kind of has more functionality than graphics. Yet paint component comes as the graphic parameter. I don't know, but okay. Also, one more thing about paint component, kind of, for you guys who don't know, we never directly call paint component. It's kind of called elsewhere. We can use method that would eventually trigger this calling, but we never directly call it. So we never actually have a hold of this graphics objects, which I guess is whatever. Kind of one less thing for me to deal with. Just call some other function and it's gonna call this. And it's gonna deal with the graphics object for me. But as I was saying before, until I interrupted myself, we want to cast this graphics object to a graphics 2D object because it's just more versatile. I don't even know if everything I use in graphics 2D is in graphics, but it's kind of just another common convention. So it's whatever, you know. I gotta conform with society. So graphics 2D, G2, because we're cool like that, equals graphics 2D G. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's supposed to be a semicolon. And it probably doesn't know graphics, yeah. Just importing everything. Might as well just import the whole Java library. Anyways, so now we have our programming paintbrush. One thing I want to do is kind of make I want the panel to paint itself white, so like the whole thing is white, like a sheet of paper. So in order to do that, first I want to set the color of this thing. So set color. It wants a color object, and what the color object, like the parameters that go inside it, it basically represents RBG, an integer. So 25, 25, 25. Doesn't know what color it is, but 25, 25, 25 basically means all red, all blue, all green, which makes white. So there. So now we have the color white. So whatever thing we draw is going to be drawn in white. So we do G2 dot draw. I really like this IntelliSense because it's like, even though you don't remember the functions, you kind of know what you want to search for. So that's pretty hip. But yeah, so draw. Is it draw? I want a rectangle. Let me just type in a rectangle. Fill rectangle actually is what I want. So the X and Y position is like, okay, where do you want this rectangle start relative to the panel? And the Java coordinate system, or at least for its swing GUI, which is what we're using, the top left is 0, 0. And that's exactly where I want the rectangle to start. And I want it to end based off of the width and height. Like I want it to have the same width and height as the panel. So the whole thing is covered white. So yeah, and they already did that for me, so I'm pretty Gucci. Anyways, now we want to start drawing the actual lines for the table. So let's set the color again. New color, and this time is 0, 0, 0 because we want black, and black doesn't have any red, blue, or green. There's also another function called set stroke, which basically kind of changes the weight of kind of like a line font, because we're going to be drawing lines, and lines could be thin, but I don't really want it to be that thin. So that's what this is for. And I say new basic stroke, which is a class that obviously has some connection to stroke. I'll give it 5. I'm actually not sure what measurement this is. Is there not basic stroke? Oh yeah, there is. Yeah. I'm not really sure what 5 means, but it seemed quite the size when I tried it last time, so 5. And now we should just draw the lines. So gee golly, let me just make this comment real quick. I like to organize my code a little bit, you know. So this is drawing lines code, or drawing table. That's kind of derogatory to just call table lines. Wow. Okay, anyway, so G2 dot, is it draw line? Yeah, draw line. So we want a 3x3 table, right? So for the vertical lines, we want two. One that's like 1/3 of the way between 0 and 400. So that's like 133. Let me pull out a calculator real quick. Yeah, 133. When I said 133 before, it's not because I did it in my head. I'm too stupid for that. It's just because I calculated it before, but I just forgot. Anyway, so yeah, we want the first line to be at position. Its X position to be at 133. The next one to be at like 266. So, and then a similar concept for the horizontal ones. So let's put this at 133 X 0 for the Y, so it's starting up here, and then 133 because it's supposed to be a vertical line, and we want the height to go all the way to the bottom, so we say d dot height. Okay, and we do the same concept for, let me just copy this. We do the same concept, but instead this is 266. This is 0, 266. Okay. We also want to draw our horizontal lines, so let me just copy this. And now the X is going to be 0 and the Y is going to be 133, and this X is going to be 0 again. Wait, would it? Yeah. The vertical lines, not the horizontal ones. X is 0. Okay, yeah. X, yeah. I had a little brain fart, but X should be width, d dot width, and then Y should be 133. This is same 266. The width (266) and 0. Okay.